Today, we celebrate two incredible women who were there at Groundwork Ohio's beginning, 20 years ago. Thanks to the commitment of Marcia Egbert and Margaret Hulbert, Groundwork is stronger now than ever and positioned to continue its work to ensure Ohio is the best place to be a young child.
When I think about Marcia, I always think about how soft-spoken she is because she's such a beast for kids. Do you remember the E.F. Hutton ads? When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Marcia is the E.F. Hutton of early childhood.
When Margaret's not looking, people say things like, she is smart and tough and savvy, and she is not gonna let this door open until a decision's been made.
Starting Groundwork was a big undertaking. It was done in part because, as Marcia might say, there wasn't really anybody getting up in the morning, and that was their first task, to improve early care and education in Ohio. And then they sort of used their relationships, their connections to bring others around that table. We had all these great meetings at Der Dutchman in Mansfield, and more peanut butter pie was consumed in the beginning of Groundwork than I think anyone will remember or admit to.
We lovingly refer to them as the matriarchs of Groundwork, and what's so impressive is that they were kind of scheming in this conspiracy for good.
When I think of Marcia, I think of someone who's super kind, a great listener, passionate, committed, faithful, dedicated, and somebody who's not willing to give up.
Margaret's legacy is shepherding business community to understand how important early childhood is.
At one time, Marcia said to me, she goes, "I'm gonna beat the cynicism out of you." She always saw the possibility.
Margaret is tenacious, really serious about helping other funders come to the table to do the work that was needed, but also doing the work herself day to day.
Marcia changed philanthropy here in Greater Cleveland and in Ohio in opening it up to the notion of advocacy. And that was not something that foundations funded or got involved in.
This is such hard work. It can be very defeating at times to work on things that take a long time to have results. But they still, both of them, come at this with a real joy.
I think Marcia and Margaret have had their finger on anything positive that has happened in Ohio related to health and human services, whether that is the expansion of Medicaid. That was a historic achievement. They were a part of the expansion of eligibility for early care and education support in this state. They were a part of preserving, protecting, and expanding the Housing Trust Fund.
They have really helped to guide policy, to increase funding that has just changed tens of thousands of lives.
With Marcia, one of the things that she's been able to do is bring national attention, particularly financial attention, to Ohio. We became one of the first states for an initiative called Pre-K Now. We became one of the first states to become a build state.
I mean, they both have really amazing, not just knowledge, but small p political instincts. The Republicans and Democrats alike definitely recognized their expertise and still do.
Marcia, she has now worked with 5 governors in this state, so her history goes back. And Margaret too. They have always felt that there isn't one party that owns all the good ideas.
Everybody knows the only agenda is doing what's right, and so people trust them.
They have also brought a whole generation of advocates with them in this fight in a way that has built a bench behind them to continue their work. And they have made sure that the things that they are so passionate about and the things that they have created can continue. And I think Groundwork is a great example of that.
They have shown people what they can do, not just told them. Sometimes we like to just tell people, go do this. They have shown how it can be done, and people watch that.
We've made great progress, but there are still too many children in this state who don't have access to high quality early care and education, and the cost is so high for families.
When I think of Margaret and Marcia together, their impact is unmatched. There was nothing that was ever going to stop both of them from seeing this vision through.
The world is full of great ideas, but if there's not the ability to be able to support the work around those great ideas, It's just a great idea that never saw its time of day. Groundwork wouldn't exist without them.
Groundwork Ohio is privileged to present them with our inaugural Groundbreaker Award.